How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video and welcome to beautiful Vietnam. Today we're heading down to the beach because I'm going to take you through a training session on how I practice and strategize for my heats on the PWA World Tour. So I've got my 4.0, it sounds pretty windy already. So let's go to the beach, check it out and get going. Let's go check it out on the beach. While we're here, I'm going to quickly break down how a heat works on the World Tour so that you can kind of understand it first of all, and then understand what's going through my head as I'm doing the heat itself. To start with then, it's going to be a man-on-man heat, so one rider versus another. Obviously, I'm going to be doing a practice heat, so I'm just going to be doing it against myself, but I can try and work out the points that I would have scored and kind of match that up against what people tend to get on the tour, and that's the comparison I'm trying to make. For each heat, we're going to have between either 7 or 8 minutes to complete all of our moves. We have to do moves on both sides, so on starboard tack and port tack, so that's with our right hand forward and our left hand forward, and we have a maximum of 7 moves, attempts, we can do on each side. At the end of the heat, your best 3 moves from each side will count towards your total score, and that's the score that we take to match against the other rider. Now, how is each of the moves scored and how are they calculated? So each move has its own score already assigned to it as a maximum. So the easier moves obviously have a lower score, and the really difficult hard moves can score the maximum points. Once you do the move, the judges will then score your move based on your style and your execution, and this will give you a final score for that move. Each of the moves are also split into separate families and categories, depending on the type of rotation that they are. This means that if you do multiple of a move from the same family, then you're going to receive a diversity fine, which is then going to lower your score. So ideally, you want to do lots of different moves from different families so that you keep the scores varied and you don't get any of these diversity fines. This is really important because it gives a much better show for the viewers, seeing a much more diverse set of tricks. And it also means for the riders that we can't just focus in on one particular aspect of the freestyle. We have to try and vary our training and we have to vary our skill set, so it really is the best windsurfer comes out on top. Okay, all making sense? Don't worry if you're struggling, all will make sense once I go out on the water, and I'll walk you through the heat as I'm doing it as well. But as I said, it's windy, the lagoon is now high enough water, so let's head up to the center, go and get rigged up and start the process of getting ready for a heat. Okay, so we're down on the beach. As you can see, it's very windy. We're up here at Surf Camp Vietnam, the center where we're storing all our kit. And it's a good moment to talk about heat areas. So I'm gonna set myself a heat area here. It's gonna be from the center upwind to the furthest point downwind. So you can see that on the drone shot. And if you draw a line straight out from those points until you get to the tower, that's gonna be my box. It's just gonna give me a bit more variety between the flat and the choppy water and make it a bit more interesting for you guys. So why do we have a heat area then? Well, obviously we have judges and they need to see all of the moves and they need to be able to see that clearly from their tower. So having a heat area controls that, and it's also an easy way to keep other people out of the area so that the judges have a clear line of sight on the sailors that they're judging. It's really important when you're doing a heat that you don't go too far downwind too soon. You're always going to drift down because of the speed you have to do the moves, but if you end up too far down too early, then you can get trapped downwind in the corner of the area, and this really limits the amount of moves you can do or potentially the opportunities that you have. So it's nice to manage that as you go throughout, and that's why I'm setting one here, as it's good practice for the future. The second thing we need to manage is the time, and we use that with one of these, a heat watch. So what this is, it's a rolling watch that counts down from a certain amount of time so that we know where we are in the heat and how much time we have, so we can manage that and the moves that we have to do with the remaining time. So we're going to go for an 8-minute heat today, as that's probably the most commonly seen on tour. And there's also a 3-minute transition, and that's the time between the next heat and your heat. And what that means is that the judges have time to reset, the riders have time to clear the area so the new ones can come in. So we take this time, the transition time, add it to the heat time, and that gives us a total rotation time. And this cycle, we keep rolling, rolling, rolling. This way we set our watches at the start of the day, and it just rolls throughout the day, and everyone's on the same sync in the same time. So I'm gonna set my watch again to 11 minutes. So I know that my transition time starts at 11, and then my heat time starts when the clock hits 8 minutes. The watch is really useful because it counts down and it beeps at you every minute. And then when you get into that last minute, it starts beeping faster, faster, faster. This means you've got to get your moves done in that limited time. And what's also great is that the screen is really big, so it's really clearly visible for me to see as I'm going along. It's just on my wrist, which I'm holding the boom, and I can manage it throughout the heat. So for the preparation before a heat then, I kind of like to have a little ritual, so it's the same every single time I do it. I'll always rig the gear. Here I'm just going to rig one sail because I'm pretty confident it's going to be 4-4 weather, pretty full power. But in a competition I would rig all of my gear and have it ready on the beach. And then what I would do is go out for a quick session, warm up, kind of make sure the gear feels good, I'm feeling comfortable. And then I do a couple of moves, normally a shaka and then one switch ducking move, so I know I can duck the sail and I'm not going in completely cold. And then usually I'll come in 5 minutes before the heat and just chill, listen to some music, get fired up. That's normally like rock music or music from my favorite windsurf videos that always fires me up to go sailing. And then yeah, once the clock hits 11 minutes, then I'll head out knowing I've got 3 minutes to start my heat and get ready and lined up in the right position to start. One thing to add is that I've asked PWA judge Emmy to score my moves so that you can follow along the scores as I go through the heat.
Okay, 10 minutes on the watch. So I've got 2 minutes till the start of the heat. I'm just going to get myself upwind on the upwind edge of the heat area. Ready to start on the horn. 9 minutes, 1 minute to go. Okay, I'm right on the upwind line. So that when it turns 20 seconds, I start to get light and I can do my first move on the horn. My first move is going to be a shaka. Same move I know I can do every time. It feels good and I can see the point for my margin in the scores. And at the start, everything helps. So keep it safe. Start slowly with the house right. We've got 20 seconds. Okay. 5, 4, 3, I'm a bit late. 2, 1. Okay, heat start. Bad decision. Nothing on the clock. Good switch. Nice wave. Dodging floaters, but that's nice. Okay, slow it down. Heart rate's going up already. Yeah, we're going to go to plan B now. Let's get plan the shaka. I'm going to go for the lack of positive. I've got a big enough gust. Just a flatter, that's all good. We're ready. 1 minute 50 gone. To be honest, I'm a bit underpowered at the moment. Nice burner. Anything else in this category now? Otherwise it will be a mega diver. Get one round up with. Okay, feeling the pressure now. Feel where you want to swim. Here's a full flasher. So, still more than halfway to go. We need one more move on this side. Need a bigger gust. Let's save that wind. Halfway 4 minutes now. Only 3 moves landed. I can't make any more mistakes. Okay. It's wet. But that's a higher scoring category move, so that's fine in the circumstances. I need the scope in. This one always is like kryptonite in competition. I don't know why. You need a lot of wind and I don't have it. I'm glad it's like Nice watch to finish. That is the end of the heat. Woo! So, as you can see, I'm very out of breath. Doing a heat gets your heart rate up a lot. I am knackered. But with not much warm up and not having done that in a while, that's okay. Full score sheet. No scorpion punch and a nice little light burner and a pretty rooty scope. But I would put that on betting that around 26 to 28 degrees mark. Not quite 30 mark.
Okay, just back from that heat. Pretty knackered actually. I need to work on the fitness, but mixed emotions. Really silly mistake on adding that 360 at the shaka at the start. Just put me on the back foot, but I managed to recover, fill the score sheet with some bigger moves that I actually haven't done on an actual heat before, so that's a positive. So mixed emotions. I'm going to keep doing these kind of things throughout my trip here in Vietnam and throughout the build up through to the summer when we go to Fuerteventura. But I think we'll call that video there. That's a wrap. Thanks so much for watching. And yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more. I'm going to put more of these practice heats on my Patreon, so go check that out in the link in the description. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video from here in Vietnam.